Vandeham Shigro Shiyudabhakalam Shigro Vaishnavanscha Shirupam Sadrujatam Sadhana Radhatam Vidam Dham Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadukam Pradana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Lalita Shri Visakam Vidam Shah Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinavalo Vyakate Kopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Mostade Tapakam Shana Gorani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sudhevi Ramani Hari Priye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
To read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 16. Divinity and Divine Service, text 16.
Čitamo iz Srimad Bhagavatama, prvo devanje, drugo poglavlje, koje se zove Bog i božanske službe, stih broj 16.
Sushusha Prahladanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Kirtan Nishevanat Shushusha Sharadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevana Shushusha Sharadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevana Vasudeva Katharuchi Syama 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 Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevana Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syama Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevana. Vaishnavas.
Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syama Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevana
Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syama Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevana
What's that? Shu shu sho. One who's engaged in hearing.
Onaj ko je zaokupljen slušanjem.
Prahladananda with care and attention.
Marljivo i pomno.
Vasudeva. In respect to Vasudeva.
Što se odnosi na Vasudevu.
Kata, the message.
Poruka.
Ruchi, affinity.
Sklonost.
Syat is made possible.
Moguće.
Mahat Sevaya, by service rendered to pure devotees.
Služenjem čistih bakta.
Vipra, O twice born.
O dva put rođeni.
Punya, Tirtha, those who are cleansed of all vice.
Oni koji su se pročistili od svih poroka.
Nishevanat, by service.
Služenjem.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Prahladananda Swami for the Prahladananda.
Prevod i komentar njegove božanske mističke.
O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
O dva put rođeni mudraci. Služenje bakle, potpuno oslobođenih svih poroka, predstavlja veliku službu. Takvim služenjem osoba razvija ukus za slušanje poruke Vasudeva.
Purport. The conditioned life of a living being is caused by his revolting against the Lord. There are men called Deva, or godly living beings, and there are men called Asuras, or demons, against the authority of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, a vivid description of the Asuras is given, in which it is said that the Asuras are put into lower and lower states of ignorance, life after life, and so sink to the lower animal forms and have no information of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. These Asuras are gradually rectified to Krishna God consciousness by the mercy of the Lord's liberated servitors in different countries under the Supreme Will. Such devotees of God are very confidential associates of the Lord, and when they come to save human society from the dangers of godlessness, they are known as the powerful incarnations of the Lord, as the sons of the Lord, as servants of the Lord, or as associates of the Lord. But none of them falsely claim to be God themselves. This is a blasphemy declared by the Asuras, and the demoniac followers of such Asuras also accept pretenders as God or His incarnation. In the revealed scriptures, there is a definite information of the incarnation of God. No one should be accepted as God or an incarnation of God unless He is confirmed by the revealed scriptures. Do a paragraph.
Radit ćemo pasus po pasus. Pobuna protiv Gospodina uzrok je uvjetovanog života živog bića. Postoje ljudi koji se nazivaju deve, božanska živa bića, i asure, demoni, koji se protive autoritetu Svevišnjega. Asure su živo opisani u 16. poglavlju Bhagavad Gite, u kojem je rečeno da padaju u sve niže stanja života, sve do životinjskih oblika, bez znanja o apsolutnoj istini božanskoj osobi. Po vrhovnoj volji, Asure postupno razvijaju svijest o Bogu, zahvaljujući milosti Gospodovih oslobođenih slugu u različitim zemljama. Takvi su bakte veoma poverljivi Gospodovi pratioci i kada se pojave u ljudskom društvu kako bi ga spasili od opuste bezbožnosti, poznati su kao njegove moćne inkarnacije, njegovi sinovi, sluge i pratioci. Međutim, niko od njih ne tvrdi lažno da je sam Bog. To je bogohuljanje prevarantskih asura, koji njihovi demonski sledbenici prihvataju kao Božje inkarnacije. U razotkrivenim spisima postoje tačni podaci o inkarnacijama Boga. Niko se ne smije prihvatati kao Božja inkarnacija ako to nije potvrđeno u razotkrivenim spisima.
The servants of God are to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to Godhead. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas, and they preach according to a particular time and place. The servants of God urge people to become devotees of the Lord. They never tolerate being called God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God himself according to the indication of the revealed scriptures. But he played the part of the devotee. People who knew him to be God addressed him as God, but he used to block his ears with his hands and chant the name of Lord Vishnu. He strongly protested against being called God, although undoubtedly he was God himself. The Lord behaved so as to warn us against unscrupulous men who take pleasure in being addressed as God.
Bakti koji se doista žele vratiti Bogu, trebaju poštovati Božje sluge kao njega samoga. Takvi sluge, zvani Mahatme ili Tirte, propovedaju u skladu s vremenom i okolnostima. Božji sluge podstiču ljude da postanu Gospodovi bakti. Nikada im ne dopuštaju da ih nazivaju Bogom. Prema tvrdnjima razotkrivenih spisa, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bio je sam Bog, ali je igrao ulogu bakta. Kada bi ga oni koji su znali da je Bog tako oslovljavali, on bi začepio uši i pevao ime Šri Višnu. Snažno je protestovao protiv toga da ga nazivaju Bogom, iako je bez sumnje bio sam Bog. Gospod se tako ponašao kako bi nas upozorio da se čuvamo bezobzirnih ljudi kojima pričinjava zadovoljstvo da ih drugi oslovljavaju.
The servants of God come to propagate God consciousness, and intelligent people should cooperate with them in every respect. By serving the servant of God, one completes God more than directly serving the Lord. The Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord, and so are very dear to the Lord. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18:69 that no one is dearer to him than one who risks everything to preach his glory. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants, and thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of God. The eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of a devotee eligible for entering in the kingdom of God.
Božji sluge dolaze širiti svjesnost Boga, a inteligentni ljudi treba da sarađuju sa njima u svakom smislu. Služeći takve sluge, možemo više zadovoljiti Gospoda nego direktnim služenjem njega samog. Gospod osjeća veće zadovoljstvo kada vidi da se njegovi sluge pravilno poštuju, jer oni se izlažu opasnosti da bi ga služili i zato su mu veoma dragi. U Bhagavad Giti, 18. poglavlje 69. stih, on izjavljuje da mu niko nije draži od onoga ko sve rizikuje kako bi propovedao njegove slave. Služenjem Gospodovih slugu osoba postepeno razvija odlike takvih slugu i tako postaje dostojna slušanja o Božjim slavama. Žarka želja za slušanjem o Bogu glavna je vrlina bakte dostojna ulaska u Božje carstvo.
Verse again, Shushusha Sharadanasya Vasudeva Katarushi Syan Mahatsevya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
I još jedan stih. O dva put rođeni mudraci, Služenje bakta, potpuno oslobođenih svih poroka, predstavlja veliku službu. Takvim služenjem osoba razvija ukus za slušanje poruke Vasude.
Om Vishnu Graya Krishna Prasthaya Bhagavate Srimad Bhagavatam Swami Namaste Namaste Saraswate Me Bhagavan Prasthane Nirvishesha Shungadi Vasavyade Shapani. Srimad Bhagavatam takes up where Bhagavad Gita left off.
Srimad Bhagavatam započinje tamo gdje je Bhagavad Gita završila.
Towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna had said, Asuram yonim apanam buddha janmini janmini mama prapyaiva kundya tato yadhyarmam titim tanaham dvishata kuran samsareshna radhamam shipramyadrasram ashubam asrishveva yonishu. For those who are envious and mischievous and the lowest of all mankind.
Dakle, sve ove stihove koje je Maharaj izgovorio su stihovi kojima se Bhagavad Gita završava. I kaže Krishna onima koji su zavidni i najgori, najpaliji od čitavog ljudskog.
Asuram yonim apanam mura janmani janmani. Life after life, I push them down.
Ja ih život za životom guram dole. Sasvim pod nebotom.
And obtaining the lowest species of life, they go down and down and down, and they can never attain it.
I tako, dobijajući niže oblike života, oni tonu sve dublje i dublje i nikada ne dostižu.
Does this sound like an innocent cowherd boy?
Jel vam zvuči to kao nevini dečak pastir?
Does this sound like somebody you'd like to meet in the street?
Jel to zvuči kao neko koga možete sretiti na ulici?
He pushes you down and down.
Gura vas sve niže i niže.
And you try to get up.
A vi pokušate da...
And he pushes you further down.
A on vas još dublje gurne dole.
So, one may wonder about the character of the speaker.
I onda se osoba može pitati kakav je karakter tog govornika.
Asuram yonim asik. Tanaham dvishita kuran samsareshna naradamam shipramyadrasram ashubam. They get into lower and lower forms of life.
Te asure dobiju sve niže i niže oblike života.
And they can never attain it.
I nikada me ne mogu dostići.
Or as a Christian say, I pick them, God, I picks him up. God picks him up. And he throws him into the burning fire.
Bog ih uzme i baci ih u razbuktali oganj.
Another one.
Odjednom se izgodi.
But here it says that actually Krishna, he wants living entities to come back to the spiritual world.
Ali ovdje se kaže da zapravo Krishna želi da se živa bića vrate u duhovni svijet.
And his creation of different species of life are not due to enviousness.
I sve ta stvorenja i različite vrste života nisu tu zbog zavisti.
But to give the living entities a chance to enjoy the results of their desires and activities.
Već živa bića dobijaju šansu da uživaju onako kako su želeli.
In other words, if one doesn't want to obtain Krishna, Krishna will not force one to obtain him.
Drugim rečima, ako neko ne želi da dostigne Krishna, Krishna ga neće primorati da on to čini.
And for one who's envious of Krishna, who wants to enjoy in this world,
A onaj ko je zavidan na Krishna, ko želi da uživa u ovom svijetu,
it is by Krishna's mercy he puts them into the lower species of life.
Njega Krishna svojom milošću zapravo stavlja u niže oblike života.
Because life is much easier in the lower species of life.
Jer je u nižim oblicima život daleko lakši.
If you're going to try to enjoy the material world,
Ako želite da pokušate da uživate u materijalnom svijetu,
the human form of life has great disadvantages
ljudski oblik života ima odlične prepreke.
that the lower species of life don't have.
Postoje i oblici života koji to nemaju.
For instance, if you're a worm in stool,
Na primjer, ako ste crvu izmetu,
the rent is free.
kirija je besplatna
There's no mortgage.
i nema hipoteke.
You don't have to work from 9 to 5.
Ne morate da radite od 9 do 5.
You have as much food as you want.
Imate hrane koliko god hoćete.
It's all free.
I sve je besplatno.
And usually you can get it warm or hot.
I obično možete da dobijete i toplo i hladno.
Enough for your whole family.
Dovoljno za čitavu porodicu.
You don't have to get any education.
Ne morate se obrazovati.
You don't have to educate your children.
Ne morate obrazovati svoju djecu.
You don't have to worry about retirement.
Ne morate brinuti o penziji.
Everything is more or less provided in abundance.
Svega ima manje ili više u izobilju.
More than you could desire.
Više nego što vi to želite.
And a constant supply.
I snabdevanje je konstantno.
We never hear that the worms in stool are worried about scarcity.
Čuli za to da se crve u izmetu
Supply is running out.
nedostacima, da su zalihe nestale,
Price is going up.
da su cene porasle.
But human beings face such problems sometimes.
Ali ljudska bića se ponekad suočavaju sa takvim problemom.
Therefore, it's Krishna's kindness He's created such living entities, such forms of life.
Stoga je Krishna iz svoje ljubaznosti stvorio takva živa bića, takve oblike života.
But Krishna's desire is the living entities become enlightened in Krishna consciousness.
A Krišnina želja je zapravo da se živa bića ožive i postanu vezane za svesnost Krišne.
Therefore, Krishna is sending His sons and His servants and the incarnations constantly coming to try to provoke God consciousness.
I zato Krišna šalje svoje sinove, inkarnacije, bakte, da pokušaju da probude tu svesnost Boga.
So here it says that those who are pure representatives of Krishna should be respected as God is respected.
I ovdje je rečeno da oni koji su čisti predstavnici Krišne treba da budu poštovani kao što se poštuje sam Bog.
So in one sense, this is just part of our philosophy. Well, it's not obvious, but the servant of Krishna is Krishna's instrument.
U jednom smislu to je očigledno, ali sluga Krišne je Krišnin instrument.
It is not, as Prabhupada said, difficult to become an instrument of Krishna.
Kao što je Prabhupada rekao, nije teško postati instrument Krišne.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna had said, Sarvendriya gunavasam, Sarvendriya vivardidam, asitam sarvavrikshaiva, nirguna gunabhokricha. Everywhere his hands, his legs, his eyes and faces, in this way the super soul exists everywhere.
U Bhagavad Gita Krišna kaže, svuda se nalaze i ruke, i lica, i tela. Duša nalazi se svuda zapravo.
So in one sense, Krishna as the super soul is in everyone's heart.
U jednom smislu Krišna kao nadduša nalazi se u srcu svakog živog bića.
And therefore, if we had a vision of a Mahabhagavat, we'd see many super souls everywhere.
I onda ako imamo viziju Mahabhagavata, mi vidimo mnogo nadduša svuda oko nas.
Just like the sun is in one place.
Baš kao što je sunce na jednom mjestu.
But when the sun is reflected on many water pots,
ali se ono može u mnogim onako posudama sa vodom reflektovati i vidjeti.
Apparently the sun is in many water pots.
I onda paralelno ono postoji i u tim svim posudama vode.
There's only one sun reflecting everywhere.
Ali zapravo postoji samo jedno sunce koje se reflektuje svuda.
Similarly, there's one super soul.
Slično tome, jedna je nadduša.
And that same super soul is in everyone's heart.
I ta ista nadduša nalazi se u svačijem srcu.
Therefore, we can say his hands, his legs, his eyes and faces are everywhere.
I zato bismo mogli reći da su njegove ruke i lica i noge svuda.
On the other side, we have hands, we have legs, we have eyes and faces.
Sa druge strane, mi imamo i noge, i ruke, i oči, i lice.
And we may think, this is my hand, this is my leg, this is my face.
I mogli bismo da mislimo, ovo je moja ruka, i moja glava, i moja noga.
But it's not our face, it's not our eyes, it's not our hands, it's not our legs.
Ali to zapravo nije naše lice, ni naša ruka, ni noga, ni oči.
They actually belong to Krishna.
To zapravo pripada Krišni.
Kshetra gyam shabimam vidi sarva kshetre shvarata. Kshetra kshetragaya gyanam yathar gyanam tamama. You should also know that I'm also the knower of Krishna says.
Krišna kaže, ja sve znam.
We're certainly the knowers of our body to some degree.
Mi smo svakako poznavaoci svojih tela do nekog stepena.
But Krishna is the knower of all bodies.
Ali Krišna je poznavalac svih tela.
And the other thing, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharatram, the other unique feature of Krishna, different from us,
I još jedna odlika Krišne koja je različita od nas i jedinstvena,
is that he's the controller of all the material energy.
jeste da je on kontrolor sve materijalne energije.
We ourselves are the renters of this body.
Mi smo možda direktori ovog tela.
We are able to get a particular body according to our merit in our previous lifetimes.
I u stanju smo da dobijemo određeno telo u skladu sa svojim zaslugama iz prošlog života.
But the actual proprietor of all bodies everywhere is Krishna.
Ali onaj ko je pravi vlasnik svih tela svuda jeste Krišna.
And when we are allowed to remain in the body for some time,
I kada nam je dozvoljeno da ostanemo u telu neko vreme,
and then at a certain time we have to leave and go somewhere else.
nakon određenog vremena moramo otići negdje drugdje.
Therefore, in that sense, Krishna is the actual hands, he's the proprietor of all the hands, legs, eyes, and faces everywhere.
I na taj način Krišna je zapravo stvaralac i vlasnik svih ruka, nogu, lica, svuda.
So although we may imagine ourselves to be doing so many things,
Iako možemo za sebe misliti da radimo tako puno stvari,
when it gets really down to it, what we're really doing is we're desiring.
sad kad sićete u suštinu toga, ono što stvarno radimo jeste da želimo.
So we can orientate our desires towards Krishna consciousness,
I tako mi možemo orijentisati i usmeriti svoje želje ka svesnosti Krišne,
or we can orientate our desires towards illusion.
ili ih možemo usmeriti ka iluziji.
That's our free will.
To je naša slobodna volja.
When we orientate our desires towards Krishna,
Kada ih usmerimo ka Krišni,
then gradually we don't interfere with Krishna's desires anymore.
onda se mi postepeno više ne miješamo i ne remetimo sa Krišnim.
We dovetail our desires with Krishna's.
Jednostavno poklapamo se nekako sa željama
And
Krišne.
then we gradually become an instrument.
I na taj način postepeno postajemo instrument.
Nimitra matram bhavasava sachin. Krishna simply told Arjuna, become an instrument
Krišna je jednostavno rekao Arjuna, postani instrument
in the fight.
u borbi.
So that's our glory for the soul, to become an instrument for Krishna.
I to je naša slava za dušu, da postanemo instrument Krišne.
And what's the difference between being an instrument for Krishna and being an instrument for Krishna's servant called Maya?
A koja je razlika između toga da se bude instrument Krišni i instrument Krišninog sluge koji se zove Maja?
Krishna says, Mahatmana sumam parada daivim prakritim ashritya bhajanyananya manaso jataputidem avya. The great souls, the Mahatmas is explained here,
Velike duše, Mahatme, kako je ovdje objašnjeno,
they're under the control of the divine energy of Krishna.
su pod kontrolom svevišnje moći Krišne,
Devotional service.
predanom služenju.
So what are they doing?
I šta rade?
So Krishna says, Sadatam kirtayantomam yatanta vridavritaha namasyantashamam bhaktya nityuta upasate. They're simply chanting my glories.
Oni jednostavno pevaju moje slave.
To become a Mahatma, you don't have to grow a long beard.
Da biste postali Mahatma, ne morate pustiti dugačku bradu.
So that certainly should be encouraging for the ladies.
To pogotovo nije tako za dame preporučeno.
You don't have to grow long or put on a big turban.
Ne morate staviti veliki turban.
You don't even have to sit on a high seat.
Ne morate čak sedeti ni na visokom mestu.
We just have to glorify Krishna.
Treba samo da slavimo Krišnu.
But that's, of course, not the end of it. Sadatam kirtayantomam Itantascha dreda vrataha, and with determination serve Krishna.
No naravno to nije kraj i sa odlučnošću treba služiti Krišnu.
Now that we're chanting our rounds,
Sad kad smo izmantrali svoje krugove,
and some idea comes to my mind.
i dođe mi jedna ideja, to dok je napravio.
I have 12 rounds left.
Ostalo mi još 12 krugova.
I'm determined to chant them.
Odlučen sam da ih
And
izmantram.
then the idea comes, but they're serving ice cream outside.
I onda mi padne na pamet, ali oni tamo napolju služe neke sladole.
And they might have strawberry.
I možda imaju i jagodu.
Oh. Maybe tomorrow I can finish my rounds.
Možda mogu sutra da ja završim svoje krugove.
In my heart I can't deny my inclination to put strawberry.
Ne mogu u srcu da ja prosto poreknem tu svoju privrženost jagodi.
If it was vanilla, I'd have to think twice.
Ali da je bila vanila, 2 put bih
But
razmišljala.
strawberry, I'm surrendered.
Ali predan sam jagodi.
Oh, Drita Vrata, I made a vow I must follow.
Drita vrata, ja sam dao zavet i moram ga slediti.
And now that I'm following the vow, look at me.
I sad ja sledim zavet, pogledajte me.
I sacrificed strawberry for the holy name.
Žrtvovao sam jagodu za sveto ime.
No, we have to glorify Krishna with determination.
Da, treba da slavimo Krišnu odlučno.
Namasyanta Srimambhatya and Namasyante with humility.
I sa poniznošću.
If we expect that by our glorification of Krishna, by our determination, our giving up so many things to glorify Krishna,
Ako očekujemo da time što slavimo Krišnu, mi naravno napuštamo toliko mnogo stvari da bismo i odričamo se mnogo stvari da bismo ga slavili.
that at the end of all this effort, all this struggle, all this surrender,
Da će na kraju svog tog napora i borbe i predavanja,
then finally
konačno,
I'll be recognized.
mene će neko priznati.
My picture will be in the 3 temples around the world.
Moja slika bit će u 3 hrana širom sveta.
No, at the end we find out we're 1/10,000 the size of a tip of hair in size.
Na kraju shvatimo da smo desetohiljaditi deo vrha vlasi kose.
So someone who's trying to become great in the material world, or in the spiritual world, he'll be very disappointed.
Tako da onaj ko pokušava da postane velik u materijalnom pa i duhovnom svetu bit će veoma razočaran.
So suddenly here is the truth, and they're going to pull the curtain, and truth is going to be there.
Kazat će vam, evo istine, i onda će otvoriti zavesu i tamo će biti istina.
And the curtain is pulled,
I kada se ta zavesa otvori,
and there's God,
i tamo je Bog,
unlimitedly beautiful and strong and wealthy and famous and knowledgeable.
neograničeno i lep i poznat i slavan i pun znanja i obilja.
And there's me.
I tu sam ja.
Where am I?
Gde sam ja?
Wait a second. God, is that who I am?
Bože, zar sam to lišni?
Wait, pull the curtain back.
Bolje da zatvorimo mi tu zavesu.
Better to reign in hell
Bolje je ostati u paklu.
than serve in heaven.
Da, plakati u paklu, nego vladati u paklu, nego služiti u raju.
No, we have to expect that there's good reason for us to be humble because we're very small.
Moramo da shvatimo to i da poštujemo. Postoji dobar razlog da mi budemo ponizni, pošto mi smo jako mali.
But as Krishna told Vasudeva and Devaki,
Ali kao što je Krišna rekao Vasudevu i Devaki,
although this vision is true, Krishna is so great,
iako je ta vizija tačna, Krišna je tako velik,
and although we're so small,
i iako smo mi tako mali,
still we're qualitatively equal to Krishna.
ipak smo mi kvalitativno jednaki Krišni.
And as we take pleasure in ourselves,
I dok mi tako uživamo u samima sebi,
as we love ourselves,
dok sebe volimo,
as we're interested in expanding our love,
i dok smo zainteresovani za širenje te
so
svoje,
Krishna, he's the reservoir of all love and all pleasure.
Krishna je istovremeno rezervoar svog znanja i sve ljubavi.
If you had a lake and it was a lake of pleasure,
Kada biste imali jedno jezero, a to je jezero zadovoljstva,
we'd be very happy to dive into the lake.
bili bismo veoma srećni da možemo da zaronimo u njega.
What to speak of an ocean of transcendental pleasure?
Zamislite tek okean transcendentalnog
No
zadovoljstva.
one complained, oh, it's such a big ocean, unfortunately.
Niko ne bi se žalio, na nesreću, to je tako veliki jedan okean.
But if it's an ocean of pleasure, then we'd be very happy.
Kada bi tu bio neki okean zadovoljstva, mi bismo bili veoma sretni.
So Krishna is an ocean of pleasure, an ocean of love.
Krishna je okean zadovoljstva i okean ljubavi.
And in Krishna's vision, he's Bhakta-Vatsal, he's the devotee of his devotees.
I prema Krišnoj viziji, on je Bhakta Vatsala, on je Bhakta svojih Bhakta.
So one who can recognize Krishna,
Osoba koja može da prepozna Krišnu,
one who can actually appreciate Krishna,
osoba koja zapravo može da ceni Krišnu,
that he's the Bhaktaram Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatmamam Shantim Richati. Not only is the owner of everything,
ne samo da je on vlasnik svega,
not only is everything supposed to be utilized for his pleasure,
ne samo da se sve zapravo odvija radi njegovog zadovoljstva,
but no one can be a better well-wisher and lover of everyone than Krishna.
već niko ne može ni biti bolji dobronamernik i više voliti sve nego Krišnu, što to radi.
Therefore, as much as any of us dovetail our desires with Krishna's desires,
Jednostavno, koliko god mi pokušavali svoje želje sa Krišninim željama da,
then one becomes Mahatma.
i ako ih poklopimo, onda postajemo Mahatma.
Now, of course, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are different levels of Mahatma,
Naravno, u Bhagavad Gita,
nectar of instruction.
u ambroziji predanosti zapravo, Krišna kaže da postoje različiti nivoji Mahatma.
There are first-class devotees, there are second-class devotees, there are third-class devotees.
Postoje prvoklasni bakte, drugoklasni i trećeklasni bakte. U ambroziji podučavamo.
So we don't have to be embarrassed, well, I'm not first class.
I ne treba da nam bude nelagodno ako mi nismo prvoklasni.
But whatever you do, don't call me third class.
Ali što god da radim, nemojte da baš zvati trećeklasni.
It's bad enough being third class.
Već je dovoljno loše što jesam trećeklasni.
But don't tell me I'm third class.
Ne morate mi još to i govoriti.
And destroy my false prestige.
I da tamo, mislim, opisujete to moje
If
lažno
you do
uzdiganje.
that, I'm going to become fifth class.
Budete li to radili, postaće petoklasni.
No, we have to recognize the symptoms of the different classes.
Ne treba da prepoznamo simptome različitih klasa, nivoa.
And not become discouraged.
I da se ne obeshrabrimo.
Because what's awaiting for us is inconceivable.
Jer ono što nas čeka je neshvatljivo.
If I could conceive of it, I would tell you about it, but I can't even conceive of it myself.
Kad bih ja to mogao da shvatim, ja bih vam to objasnio, ali čak ni ja to ne mogu da shvatim.
The best indication I have is that I remember when the first time I saw Srila Prabhupada.
Najbolja indikacija toga, najbolje naslučenje toga koje ja imam jeste kad sam prvi put sreo Srilu Prabhupada.
I come from America.
Dolazim iz Amerike.
And in America, people don't like to bow down.
I u Americi ljudi ne vole da se klanjaju.
One of our ISKCON's friends, at least for some time, wrote a song called Bow Down Mister.
Jedan od prijatelja našeg društva, Boy George, napisao je Bow Down Mister.
Because Americans are the laws of the whole universe.
Jednostavno, Amerikanci su vladari čitavog univerzuma.
And therefore they don't like to bow down.
I zbog toga, pošto tako misle, onda ne vole da se klanjaju.
But when I joined the temple, they told us to bow down.
I kad sam se ja pridružio baktama, onda su mi rekli da se klanjaju.
They said every time you see the deity, you're supposed to bow down.
I rekli su mi, kod vidiš božanstvo, moraš da se pokloniš.
The problem was that we were living in a railroad shack.
Problem je bio što smo mi živjeli u nekakvom željezničkom skloništu ili nekoj kućici.
Buffalo, New York, the first temple was an old, abandoned railroad shack.
U Buffalo, u New Yorku, prvi naš tempel bilo je to napušteno železničko sklonište.
And the temple, the altar was at the entrance.
I oltar je bio na ulazu.
There was Lord Jagannath and Lord Baladev and Srimati Subhadra Devi.
Tamo su bili gospodin Jagannath, Baladev i Srimati Subhadra Devi.
And every time, anywhere you went in the house, you had to pass by them.
I kad god si ulazio u kuću, morao si da prođeš pored njih.
If you went upstairs, you had to pass by them.
Ako si želeo gore, morao si da
If
prođeš
you
pored
went to
njih.
the kitchen, you had to pass by them.
Ako si išao u kuhinju, opet si morao da prođeš.
If you had to use the toilet, you had to pass by them.
Ako si morao na toalet, opet si morao da prođeš pored njih.
So the whole day we were just offering obeisances.
Smo čitav dan samo odavali poštovanje.
So after some months, I got a little accustomed to it.
Nakon nekoliko meseci malo sam se privikao na tu situaciju.
But Prabhupada was visiting. This is the first time I was going to see him.
I Prabhupada je došao u posjetu, to je prvi put da sam ga vidio.
I already had gotten initiation by mail some months ago.
Ja sam već nekoliko meseci pre toga dobio inicijaciju putem pošte.
But I was thinking in the back of my mind, I don't want to commit an offense.
Ali negde posadi u svom umu mislio sam da želim da počinim neku uvredu.
That I have to remember that when I see Srila Prabhupada, I have to bow down.
I moram da se setim, čim vidim Srila Prabhupada treba da se poklonim.
So Prabhupada was arriving at the airport.
I Prabhupada je stigao na aerodrom.
And I was thinking, as soon as I see him, I have to bow down.
I ja sam samo mislio, čim ga vidim moram da se poklonim.
So then I saw Srila Prabhupada.
I onda sam vidio Srila Prabhupada.
And when I saw him, I was actually struck with wonder.
I kada sam ga ugledao, čudo me zadesilo, prosto zablokirao sam.
Because he looked like he wasn't walking, he looked like he was actually floating.
Jer on je izgledao kao da ne hoda, kao da lebdeo.
So I forgot to bow down.
I ja sam zaboravio da se poklonim.
Finally, Srila Prabhupada sat down right in the middle of the airport.
I onda je konačno Srila Prabhupada rekao tamo, tačno, usred aerodroma.
This was a long time ago.
To je bilo pre mnogo vremena.
And he started a kirtan.
Seo je tamo odmah.
Then I remembered.
I počeo je kirtan, toga se sećam.
I'm supposed to bow down.
I onda sam se setio zapravo, pa ja treba da odam poštovanje.
So I bowed down.
I brzo sam odam poštovanje.
And next thing I noticed, someone was tapping me on the back.
I sljedeće što sam primetio, neko me lupkao po leđima.
Hard.
I to jako.
So I got up.
I onda sam ustao.
And it was Brahmananda Prabhu.
To je bio Brahmananda Prabhu.
And he said, you have to wait here for Prabhupada's luggage.
I rekao je, ti treba da čekaš ovdje Prabhupada prtljega.
I said, no way.
Ja sam rekao, nema šanse.
I'm going back to the temple with everyone else.
Ja idem nazad u hram sa svima ostalima.
So he said, no way.
I onda nema šanse.
So he was twice as big as I was.
A sad on je 2 put krupniji od mene.
So I had to stay.
I onda sam morala da ostanem.
And there's more to the story.
Jednostavno, tu ima povuk ta priča.
In any case, Prabhupada was not an ordinary devotee.
U svakom slučaju, Prabhupada nije bio običan bhakta.
So I had my first experience with someone, a devotee, who I considered to be extraordinary.
I to je bilo moje prvo iskustvo sa bhaktom koga sam smatrao neobičnim.
And, well, by Krishna's mercy and by Prabhupada's mercy, every time I was with Prabhupada, it was quite extraordinary for me.
S Krišninom milošću i Prabhupadom milošću, svaki moj susret sa Šrila Prabhupadom bio je zapravo veoma neobičan.
Therefore, there are different degrees of absorption in Krishna consciousness.
Dakle, postoje različiti stepeni usredsređenosti na svesnost Krišne.
But I know devotees associated with Prabhupada, they thought that that's who I want to become like.
Znam za bhakte koji su se družili sa Šrila Prabhupadom, oni su mislili, takav ja hoću. Ja sam mislio, hoću da budem kao on.
Whoever he is,
kogod da je on zapravo,
whatever he's doing,
šta god da on radi,
he's definitely happier than anyone else I've ever experienced.
Prabhupada je definitivno srećniji nego bilo ko drugi koga sam ja ikada sreo.
So I want to become as happy as he is.
I onda sam mislio, a ja hoću da postanem sretan koliko i on.
And Prabhupada preached how you can become happy like he is.
I Prabhupada je propovedao kako se može postati sretan kao što je on.
Not by imitating him,
Ne tako što ga imitiramo,
but by actually becoming like him.
već jednostavno tako što postanemo kao što je on.
Therefore, Krishna consciousness is a process
I zato je Svesus Krishna proces.
of loving exchanges.
Proces ljubavne razmene.
Tadati pratigrinati guyamati prichati bhumde bojayate shaiva shadvidam priti lakshana. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially. These are the 6 symptoms of love shared by the devotees.
Citira 6 simptoma ljubavi razmene među baktama, nuđenje poklona s ljubavlju, primanje takvih poklona, poverljivo otvaranje uma i razgovor sa baktom su neki od tih.
So this is the life of our movement.
I to je život u našem pokretu.
Whether we share these loving exchanges amongst ourselves,
Bilo da delimo tu ljubav među sobom,
or we try to share them with others.
ili pokušamo to da delimo sa drugima.
Just like distributing transcendental books of Prabhupada.
Na primjer, deleći transcendentalne Prabhupadove knjige.
This is actually sharing with seemingly ordinary people transcendental wisdom.
To je zapravo deljenje te transcendentalne mudrosti sa običnim ljudima.
And whether they like it or not, those who buy the books or even touch the book, whatever they do with the book, they become momentarily, to some degree, an instrument for Krishna.
I bez obzira šta urade sa tom knjigom, bilo da je otvore, čim je dotaknu, ti ljudi u nekoj meri istog trena postaju instrument Krišne.
Even one, I was traveling with one sannyasi, he told me how he became a devotee.
Putovao sam sa jednim sanjasijem i on mi je ispričao kako je postao bhakt.
Every time he saw a devotee,
Svaki put kad bi video bhaktu,
he'd go over and take a book from their hands and rip it up.
otišao bi do bhakte, iščupao mu knjige iz ruku i iscepao.
And after some time of doing that, he actually became purified.
I nakon što je to nekoliko puta ponovio, zapravo se preočistio.
Then he decided to look at what's in the book before ripping it up.
I onda je odlučio da pogleda šta je to u knjigama.
And after reading the book, he became a devotee.
I čim je pročitao knjigu, postao je bhakta.
And then became a sannyasi.
I postao je sannyasi.
There's such potency in this loving exchange.
Tolika je moć ljubavne razmene.
In any case,
U svakom slučaju,
in these loving exchanges, whether it's amongst the devotees or amongst ourselves, we have to learn some discrimination.
prilikom te ljubavne razmene, bilo da je među nama, među baktama ili sa drugima, moramo da znamo neku vrstu diskriminacije razlikovanja.
So Krishna says, Krishneti asti garitam manasadriyeta dikshasi chatranati vistabhashantamisham shushu shaya chabhajanam ananyanya vindati sunya hridayam ipsita sangalabhya. That one should honor the devotee who mentally, one should mentally honor the devotee who mentally, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Krishna.
Kaže da osoba treba u umu da poštuje bhaktu koji mantra Hare Krishna.
One should cooperate those devotees who are worshiping, who are initiated in worshiping the deity.
Treba sarađivati sa baktama koji su inicirani i koji obožavaju božanstvo.
And one should faithfully serve the unalloyed devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service.
I treba sa predanošću služiti čistog bhaktu koji je utemeljen u predanom služenju.
And whose heart is devoid of the propensity to criticize others.
I treba izbjegavati tu sklonost da se kritikuju drugi.
So this is the art of Krishna consciousness.
To je umetnost svesnosti Krišne.
On one side we have to learn discrimination.
Sa jedne strane moramo naučiti tu diskriminaciju.
So we can properly develop our love for Krishna.
Da bismo na pravilan način razvili svoju ljubav prema Krišni.
Generally, the process of elevation in consciousness
Jednostavno to je proces uzdizanja svesnosti.
Is to learn the proper activities,
Jeste da se nauče pravilne aktivnosti,
then the proper vision,
pa da se stekne pravilna vizija,
then the proper attitude,
pa pravilan stav
the proper feeling.
i pravilno osjećanje.
But we're learning how to get the proper vision.
Sad, kako dobiti tu pravilnu viziju?
So simultaneously we know what to do and how to feel about what we're doing.
Onda ćemo, kad to imamo, istovremeno i znati šta da radimo i kako se osjećamo dok to radimo.
So the first qualification is learning how not to be so, how to discriminate properly.
Prva kvalifikacija je zapravo da naučimo kako da pravilno pravimo razliku.
For the very, how to discriminate how to discriminate, how to have proper discrimination in seeing people who are not very advanced in Krishna consciousness.
Kako da pravilno razlikujemo i diskriminišemo zapravo stepen do koji ljudi koji nisu javno svjesni Krishna.
Generally, our first propensity is when we're seeing people who are not advanced, is immediately criticize them.
Prva naša sklonost je kada vidimo neke ljude koji nisu napredni, da ih kritikujemo.
And then our mind goes, got him.
I jednostavno napravi sad sam vas čekao.
You rascal.
Ti nitkove.
I feel so good.
Kako mi je dobro.
I killed another demon for Krishna.
Ubio sam još jednog demona.
Where's the another demon?
Gdje je drugi demon?
And if we feel like that, Krishna will send so many demons.
Ako se tako osjećamo, Krishna će poslati mnogo demona.
When we were distributing the airports, I remember, I was in Chicago, and just like Krishna would send, I was distributing books in Chicago.
Dok je Maharaj delio knjige u Chicagu na aerodromu,
There were the top book distributors in the world at that time.
tamo su tada bili u Chicagu najbolji delioci knjiga tog vremena.
And just like Krishna, or Yogamaya would send a demon every day.
I jednostavno Yogamaya bi svaki dan poslala demona.
Because Krishna and the coward boys, they would be playing.
Jer Krishna i dječaci pastiri su se igrali.
And they were so absorbed in their lila,
I toliko su apsorbovani u svoju lilu,
they forget to take lunch.
da su zaboravili da ručaju.
So Yogamaya didn't want to disappoint the mothers who had made the lunch for them.
Yogamaya nije htjela da razočara majke koje su napravile te ručke.
So she'd send a demon every day during lunchtime.
I onda bi slala demona svaki dan u vreme ručka.
So Krishna would have to stop playing,
I tako je Krishna morao da zastane se igrom,
kill the demon,
da ubije
and
demona.
then they remembered to take lunch.
I onda bi se setili da dođu na ručak.
Therefore, the demons had a very important part in Krishna's pastimes.
I tako su demoni imali veoma važnu ulogu u Krishnim zabavama.
Similarly, in the airport, the devotees were really fired up. We're going to take over the world and kill the demons.
Slično tome na aerodromu su bakte zaista izgarali i mislili su, ma sad ćemo mi to da zavodamo čitav svet, da poubijamo sve demone.
So even in the airport, Krishna would send demons regularly so that the devotees could try to kill them.
Tako da i na aerodromu Krishna svaki dan redovno slao demona, da bi bakte imali koga da ubiju.
Until after a while, the devotees mellowed out a little bit.
I onda su se posle nekog vremena i bakte malo stišali.
And then Krishna didn't have to send so many demons.
I više Krishna nije morao da šalje toliko mnogo demona.
Although I'm sure there were plenty left.
Iako mi se čini, siguran sam da ih ima još mnogo.
So similarly, if we acquire our vision, Krishna will reciprocate.
Slično tome, ako dobijemo, razvijemo pravu viziju, Krishna će nam uzvratiti.
Dadami buddhi yogam tam, tesham sadatam yuktanam, vajantam priti purvakam. If we want to be steady in our service,
Ako želimo da budemo postojani u svojoj službi,
if we want to remain enthusiastic in our service,
ako želimo da ostanemo entuzijastični,
if we want to make advancement towards a higher platform in our service,
i ako želimo u svojoj službi da napredujemo ka višim nivoima,
then we have to learn that discrimination.
onda moramo da naučimo to razlikovanje.
Yes, this person is not properly following.
Da, ta osoba možda ne sledi pravilno.
So my reaction is, let me not disturb them.
I onda je moja reakcija, hajde da je ja ne uznemiravam.
Let me not be disturbed by them.
Hajde da ni ona mene ne uznemirava.
Let me be their well-wisher and appreciate that they're chanting the holy name.
Hajde da ja budem njihov dobronamernik i da cenim to što matraju sveto ime.
Let them do their business and let me do my business.
Neka oni rade svoje, a ja ću da radim svoje.
And our business is to cooperate with the devotees who are trying to spread Krishna consciousness.
A naš posao jeste da sarađujemo sa baktama koji šire svesnost Krišne.
Cooperate with the devotees arranging the service of the deities.
Da sarađujemo sa baktama koji se bave uređivanjem službe božanstava.
Arranging the service of the devotees.
Koji se menadžiraju tamo služenje baktama.
So the devotees become capable
da bi bakte postali sposobni
physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually,
fizički, mentalno, emocionalno, intelektualno,
empowered to distribute this knowledge to others.
I bili opunomoćeni da dele to znanje drugima.
So other people can worship the deity.
I onda i drugi ljudi mogu da obožavaju božanstvo.
In their house,
u svojim kućama,
in the temple,
u hramu,
anywhere.
svuda.
And they can learn how to respect and eventually worship each other.
I mogu naučiti kako da poštuju i kasnije da služe.
The husband can properly respect his wife. The wife can respect the husband.
Muž može na pravilan način poštovati svoju ženu i žena može poštovati muža.
They can respect their children.
Oni mogu da poštuju svoju decu.
And see them not as simply my children, my wife, my husband, my house, as Krishna's eternal servants.
I da ih vide ne kao moju ženu, mog muža, moje dete, moju kuću, već kao Krišnine večne sluge.
And as part of their advancement, serve with love and devotion their family members.
I kao deo svog napretka, oni će onda služiti sa ljubavlju i devocijom svoje članove porodice.
In Krishna consciousness.
U svesnosti Krišne.
And gradually see how everyone, all of the entities are part of their family.
I postepeno će onda shvatiti i vidjeti kako su svi, sva živa bića, deo njihove porodice.
As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing in Shiva Sangha for some time with his confidential associates.
Kao što je sa svojim poverljivim pratiocima Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shiva Sangha plesao jedno vreme.
Then at a certain point they broke open the storehouse of love of God.
I onda su u jednom momentu otvorili to skladište ljubavi prema Bogu.
And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates went everywhere, dancing and chanting.
I razišli su se svuda, plešući i pevajući.
Expanding the transcendental family.
Šireći transcendentalnu porodicu.
So that vision,
ta vizija,
the Mahabhagavata sees everyone should participate.
Mahabhagavata to vidi i svako treba da učestvuje.
The Mahabhagavata is not one who thinks I am Mahabhagavata.
Mahabhagavata nije onaj ko misli ja sam Mahabhagavata.
The Mahabhagavata thinks I am simply the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna's servants.
Već on misli ja sam sluga od sluge od sluge od sluge od Krišnine sluge.
And my spiritual master, he wanted to save everyone.
I moj duhovni učitelj je želeo da spase sve.
He knew the science of being able to save anyone who would take up the science of Krishna consciousness.
I znao je umetnost kako spasiti svakoga ko pristupi svesnosti Krišne.
He knew the science of how to properly honor all of the entities.
I znao je tu nauku kako pravilno poštovati sva živa bića.
And by seeing his example, I could actually see how he was honoring every living entity.
I gledajući njegov primjer, ja zapravo mogu vidjeti kako je on poštovao sva živa bića.
He loved Krishna.
Voleo je Krišnu.
He loved the devotees.
Voleo je bakte.
He helped elevate them in so many different ways.
Pomogao je da se oni uzdignu na tako mnogo načina.
And he also helped the innocent.
Također pomagao je nedužnom.
And he taught us how to avoid the people, how to neglect the people who are against Krishna.
I naučio nas je kako da zanemarimo.
And he did it in such a way that only a perfect instrument of Krishna could have done it in that way.
I on je to sve uradio na takav način kakav je moglo da uradi samo osoba koja je potpuno posvećena Krišni.
Therefore he didn't try to be a pure devotee.
I zato on nije pokušavao da bude čisti bhakt.
Or he didn't imitate a pure devotee.
Niti je imitirao čistog bhaktu.
He was a pure devotee.
On je bio čisti bhakt.
And that was shown by the results of his preaching.
I to je pokazano rezultatima njegovog propovedanja.
Krishna Shakti Vinanaya Tara Pravartana. Only one who's empowered like that by Krishna could preach like that.
Samo onaj koga je Krišna tako opunomoćio može da propoveda na takav način.
Therefore, those who are not Mahabhagavats,
Zato oni koji nisu Mahabhagavati
they have to take shelter of the instructions of such a personality
treba da uzmu utočište uputstava instrukcija takve ličnosti
and act according to their capacity to make advancement towards that goal.
i da deluju u skladu sa svojim kapacitetima kako bi napredovali ka tom cilju.
To become a better and a better and a better and better and finally a perfect instrument for Krishna.
Da postaju sve bolji i bolji i bolji i na kraju postanu savršeni instrument Krišne.
In any case, even by trying to do that,
U svakom slučaju, čak i dok pokušavaju da to
one can help so many living entities, so many people become Krishna conscious.
osoba može da pomogne tako mnogo živih bića i tako mnogo ljudi mogu postati svjesni Krišne.
It is not that we have to become a perfect instrument to spread Krishna consciousness.
Nije da treba da postanemo savršen instrument za širenje svjesnosti Krišne.
We simply have to try to become a perfect instrument for those who are actually perfect.
Već jednostavno treba da pokušamo da postanemo instrumente za oni koji su zapravo savršeni.
Of course, who we see as perfect, that's our personal vision.
Naravno, sad koga mi vidimo kao savršenog, to je naša lična vizija.
But at least in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, all of us have to recognize that Prabhupada was a perfect instrument.
Ali barem u Međunarodnom društvu za svjesnost Krišne svi mi moramo priznati da je Makaršana Prabhupada bio savršen.
And that we should see others as how perfect they are according to Prabhupada's standard.
I onda treba da kada posmatramo druge da vidimo koliko su oni savršeni u odnosu na Prabhupadav standard.
If we do that, then the result is we'll become effective as instruments for Krishna.
I kao rezultat toga mi ćemo postati jednostavno instrumenti Krišne.
Sometimes the devotees, they think, we hear, oh, there is no one perfect in Krishna's. Prabhupada was perfect and everyone else is imperfect.
Nekada čujemo bhakte kažu, nema nikog ovdje savršenog, Prabhupada je bio savršen, ali ostali nisu.
Don't love anyone, just only love Prabhupada.
Nemojte nikoga da volite, volite samo Prabhupada.
So in one sense we should love Prabhupada.
U jednom smislu treba da volimo.
And if we love Prabhupada,
I mi njega volimo.
then we'll love his associates also.
I zato volimo i njegove pratioce.
If you love, Prabhupada used to say, if you love me, then love my dog.
Prabhupada je govorio, ako voliš mene, voli i mog psa.
You can imagine here's a gentleman walking down the street with his dog.
Možete zamisliti sad da gospodin neki šeta ulicom sa svojim psom.
And to the gentleman you shake his hand and say, oh, you're such a nice person.
I rukujete se sa njim i kažete, ti si tako fina osoba.
I really want to serve you.
Stvarno bih volila da te slušam.
And then you see his dog.
I onda vidite njegovog psa.
And you walk up to the dog.
I priđete psu.
And kick it in the head really hard.
I onda ga šutnete u glavu, ovako baš pošteno.
The dog is screaming.
I pas bi onda vrištao.
And you go up to the man and say, wow, you're such a great person. How can I please you?
A vi ste prethodno čovjeku rekli, ti si tako divna osoba.
What would the man
Kako da
think?
služi? Šta bi taj čovjek mislio?
I think you're crazy.
Mislio bi da ste ludi.
You just kicked my dog.
Propustila. Da, udario si mog psa.
So similarly, even if someone thinks, oh, here's Prabhupada's followers, they're just dogs.
Čak Ako neko misli, evo ovo su Šrila Prabhupadovi sledbenici, to su njegovi psi.
We'll probably be very pleased if you walked up and at least patted the dog.
Ali Prabhupada bi bio jako radostan kad bi vi bar prišli i pomazili te pse.
But if you try to kick the dog,
Ali ako pokušate da šutnete psa,
Prabhupada will not be very pleased.
Prabhupada ne bi bio jako zadovoljan.
Simply anyone who's simply making effort to serve a pure devotee, they also become pure devotees.
Jednostavno, svako ko čini napor da služi čistog bhakti, i on postaje čisti bhakti.
They become instruments for Krishna.
On postaje instrument Krishna.
And even people are innocent, somehow or another, they become involved in becoming instruments.
Čak i nevini ljudi na jedan ili drugi način postaju na neki način instrumenti Krishna.
So we have to respect some of them, we have to cooperate with some of them, and we should serve some of them.
I onda treba da poštujemo neke od njih, da služimo neke od njih i da sarađujemo sa njih.
And we should use our discrimination, who to serve, who to cooperate with, and who to respect.
I tu svoju moć razlikovanja treba da koristimo za to da shvatimo koga da služimo, koga da poštujemo, sa kim da sarađujemo.
But as soon as we become morose, as soon as we become envious, as soon as we have some other mentality,
Ali čim postanemo zavisni, uznemireni i razvijamo neki drugi mentalitet,
then we're not following Prabhupada's instructions.
to znači da ne sledimo Prabhupadovu uput
We're not properly engaged.
i da nismo pravilno angažovani.
There's something wrong with our vision.
Ima nešto što nije dobro u vezi s našom vizijom.
We have to be like Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur.
Treba da budemo kao Gospod Nityananda i Haridas Thakur.
They went door to door.
Oni su išli od vrata do vrata.
Here is God Himself.
Evo Bog.
He's the source of everything.
On je izvor svega.
Mahavishnu is simply a portion of His plenary portion.
Mahavišnu je tek delić njegovog potpunog dela.
He's going door to door, knocking on people's door.
I on ide od vrata do vrata i kuca na vrata ljudima.
Telling people, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. Chant Krishna's name.
I govori, pevajte Krišnino ime.
Worship Krishna.
Obožavajte Krišnu.
Become Krishna's devotee.
Postanite Krišnini bhakti.
And some people are saying, who are these rascals?
Neki ljudi se govori, ko su ovi nitkovi?
Maybe they're dacoits.
Možda su to oni lupežniki.
They're knocking on our doors so they can look inside to see what to steal.
To su razbojnici, lupkaju tu na naša vrata da vide šta mogu da ukradu.
Maybe tell them to go away or call in the police.
Ma kaži im da odu, ne treba im.
But Lord Nityananda was not discouraged.
Ali gospodin Nityananda nije bio beshrabren.
He put a straw in his mouth.
On je stavio slamku u svoj
Haridas Thakur put a straw in his mouth
Haridas Thakur je stavio.
and roll on the ground. Please chant the holy name.
I valjao se po zemlji. Molim vas, pevajte sveto ime.
And when Lord Nityananda approached Jagai Madai,
I kada je gospodin Nityananda prišao Jagaji Madaju,
the first time,
prvi put,
they tried to catch him.
pokušali su da ga stignu.
They tried to catch Haridas Thakur.
I probali su da uhvate Haridas Thakura.
They said, let's kill them.
I rekli su, hajde da ih ubijemo.
And Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda had to run for their lives.
I onda su Haridas Thakur i Nityananda morali da beže za svoj život.
And Haridas Thakur was telling Lord Nityananda, you rascal, Lord Nityananda.
I Haridas Thakur je rekao gospodine Nityananda, pa ti si lupež Nityananda.
Because I'm associating with you, now I'm going to lose my life.
Pa ja se družim s tobom i evo tu ću da umrem, da poginem.
You're approaching all kinds of crazy people, drunkards.
Ti jednostavno tu prilaziš svakojakim
By
pijanicama.
this bad association, I'm almost dead.
I ja zbog tog lošeg društva skoro da sam poginuo.
So Lord Nityananda said, actually, Lord Nityananda, it's proper you approach these people.
I onda je gospodin Nityananda rekao, zapravo ispravno je da se prilazi takvim.
Because you're drunk like they are.
Jer ti si pijan koliko su i oni.
And Lord Nityananda said, Haridas Thakur, don't blame me.
I rekao je, nemoj ti Haridas Thakura mene.
Blame your master, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Ti krivi svog gospodara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Because we're going everywhere fulfilling his instructions, therefore we're getting in trouble like this.
Jer mi svuda gde idemo zapravo sledimo njegovo uputstvo.
I'm innocent, don't blame me.
Nemoj ti mene ne kriviš.
In this way they're laughing and giggling as these drunkards were chasing to kill them.
I tako su se oni kikotali i smejali dok su ih te pijanice jurili, ne bi ih ubili.
They're completely in transcendental bliss.
Oni su bili u potpunom transcendentnom
Because
zanosu.
Jagai and Madai were ugly and fat
Naravno, Jaga i Madai su bili debeli i
and
ružni
drunk.
i pijani.
So after a while they start to run and chase each other in circles.
I oni su posle nekog vremena počeli da sebe međusobno onako u krugu bijaju.
And obviously they couldn't catch
I očigledno nisu mogli ni sebe jedni drugi.
Haridasa Kaur and Lord Nityananda.
A nisu mogli Haridasa.
But for them it was all fun. Lord Nityananda, Haridasa Kaur.
Ali to je za gospodina Nityanandu i Haridasa Thakura bila sve zabava.
So one who serves the Sankirtan movement,
Tako osoba koja služi Sankirtan,
who learns the proper vision,
koja uči pravilnu viziju,
how to personally serve Krishna in his house, in his temple,
kako lično služiti Krišnu u svojoj kući, u hramu,
and how to become a preacher, a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, and preach the message.
i kako postati propovednik i sluga od sluge od sluge od sluge Krišne i propovedati poruku,
Then everything becomes fun.
onda sve bude u redu.
Fun in Krishna consciousness.
I postane sve zabavno u svesnosti Krišne.
So, thank you. Yes. Mark.
Thank you very much for this nice class.
Hvala puno za ovaj čas. Lekciju.
Hare Krishna. Yes. And you talked in the beginning on the super soul, and I have a question since actually a long time about it. I have read in Prabhupada's books, at least I remember reading it several times and always questioning myself what it meant. I have read that before we see the super soul sees, before we hear the super soul hears, and other such statements which show that the super soul first perceives, and then our perception follows this perception of the super soul. Have you heard something? Does this ring a familiar? Oh yes, I have also read.
Yeah.
Good. Now my question is, well, really, could you give an example? And how does this work? I thought a little bit that the super soul, yes, gives intelligence, but and remembrance and forgetfulness, but I have not yet heard that he's involved in our perception, and in this way involved in the sensual, the sense experience of a conditioned soul. But I've read it so much, I couldn't really make sense out of it. Could you kindly shed some light on this?
Well, this body and everything, the gross and subtle body, are more or less, well, they are manifestations of the material nature. And we ourselves are the perceiver because we have consciousness.
Excuse me. Shortly, both of you. Maharaj Sachinandana Swami had a question. I ja sad na englesku. Sachinandana Swami je imao pitanje, ili se dugo pitao zapravo, kako to, čini mu se da je čitao u Prabhupadovim knjigama, kako prva je nadduša ta koja osjeća, koja čuje, koja vidi, koja doživljava te stvari, pa onda mi, uslovna duša. I zanimalo ga je možda da se da neki primjer kako se to zapravo dešava, pogotovo što se tiče čulne percepcije, na koji način se to zapravo odvija. I onda je Maharaj započeo odgovor, ja ću ga morat zamoliti da ponovim. Could you kindly repeat for me?
Now, at every moment, the material nature has to arrange itself according to what we deserve and what we desire.
U svakom momentu materijalna priroda je napravila aranžman u skladu sa onim što zaslužujemo i što želimo.
Now, what we deserve and desire is first has to be known and sensed by the super soul.
I to što mi želimo i što mi zaslužujemo je to prvo nešto što je poznato zapravo pre svega na duši.
Then he tells material nature how to arrange itself.
I onda ona kaže na duša, materijalnoj prirodi kako to da aranžira.
And then we have experience.
I onda mi prolazimo kroz iskustvo.
So unless Krishna had previous cognition of what we've done and what we're desiring at the present, he would know how to arrange the material energy.
Kad Krišna ne bi znao šta mi sve zaslužujemo i šta radimo i šta želimo, ne bi znao kako da izaranžira materijalnu energiju.
So then, as for the common conditioned soul, he doesn't interfere with their sense perception.
Što se tiče običnih uslovljenih duša, on se ne miša u njena čulno opažanje.
But he has to make the arrangements for it.
Ali mora za to da napravi aranžman.
For the devotee, it's a different situation.
U slučaju bakte različita je ta situacija.
Because then it's not, Krishna, he's actually, instead of making the arrangements it's not so much different, but instead of making the arrangements only, through the external energy, he makes it through the internal energy.
Ali u baktinom slučaju nije baš potpuno, ali malo jeste različite situacije. Ne pravi Krišna aranžmane samo u spoljašnjoj energiji, već koristi i promjene u unutrašnjoj energiji.
Although apparently the activities of a devotee are going on by the external energy, but actually their activities are being arranged by the internal energy.
Iako na očigled aktivnosti bakte se čine kao da su aktivnosti spoljašnje energije, one se zapravo odvijaju kao aktivnosti i manifestacija unutrašnje energije.
In any case, Krishna is one who has to make the arrangements.
U svakom slučaju, Krišna je taj koji mora da napravi taj aranžman.
Is that right?
Je to u redu?
Yes, certainly.
Da, da.
My question is, so he has to perceive my desires, or the desires of the conditioned soul, in order, and also his eligibility according to previous karma, in order to make the arrangements that this works. That is how I understand your answer. But is he seeing the tree before I see the tree? Each time I see the tree, I mean, my question is a little bit.
Well, actually, what we think we're seeing a tree, but actually, what we're seeing is Krishna.
Wait a minute. Excuse me. Izvinite. Dakle, Maharaj je ponovio ovo što je bilo odgovoreno, ali on je zapravo hteo da pita pravi mehanizam, šta se dešava ako mi vidimo drvo, da li prvo to Krišna vidi drvo, pa onda mi vidimo drvo, ili koji je zapravo mehanizam toga? Je ovo odgovor?
Yes, Krishna sees the tree before.
Da, tako je. Krišna vidi drvo pre nas.
Krishna sees the tree, tells the material nature to become that tree.
Krišna vidi drvo, kaže materijalnoj prirodi da postane to.
And then we see the tree.
I onda mi vidimo drvo.
And that's what Krishna saw, just like at the very beginning of creation.
Baš kao na samom početku stvaranja.
Krishna knew exactly what he wanted the creation to be.
Krišna je tačno znao šta želi da čitava kreacija bude.
Then he has a seminar with Brahma.
I onda ima jedan seminar sa Brahmom.
He gives Brahma a seminar on creation.
I dao mu je seminar o stvaranju.
And then Brahma learns what the creation is supposed to look like.
I onda je Brahma naučio šta je to stvaranje zapravo i
Then
kako to
he
izgleda.
engineers it on behalf of Krishna.
I onda ga je on zapravo izrealizovao u ime Krišne.
So Krishna, he know, because otherwise, if it was left up to us, this world would be very confusing.
Inače, da je sve prepušteno nama, ovaj svet bi bio velika konfuzija.
But the creation has to go, the blueprint for the creation, the vision of that creation has to be before the creation.
Ali taj otisak kreacije, ta vizija kreacije, mora da postoji pre same kreacije.
Is that right?
Je li to u redu?
Anything else? Yes, one more question.
I would like to ask Maharaj, when he was speaking that we should serve according to our capacity. I want to ask you how we can measure this in our personal life, because we see when we are in enthusiastic environment and association, it seems that desire to serve became increased and our capacity seemed to be increased. And for example, when we are in some problematic situations, when we are going through some challenges in life, or we are sick, or not in good consciousness, it seems that our capacity is decreased. And I want to ask you, as Maharaj said, is it some mechanism or some way that we can, how we said, go deeper into ourselves to see what we can actually steadily do for Krishna? And is it increasing also with spiritual advancement, or how is it working? Pitao sam Maharaja u vezi toga što je rekao da trebamo da služimo u skladu sa svojim kapacitetom, i onda sam pitao, kao što je bilo Prahladananda Swami, u smislu koji je to mehanizam, kako to funkcioniše, kako to možemo da procenimo kod sebe, jer vidimo da kad smo u entuzijastičnom društvu, kad imamo dobro društvo, kako naš entuzijazam za službu se povećava i kao da se naš kapacitet za službu isto povećava. Međutim, s druge strane, kad prolazimo kroz neke izazove u životu ili smo bolesni, onda kod da se taj naš kapacitet smanji za službu. Pa sam htio da pitam Maharaja kako može da procenimo koji je zapravo naš kapacitet da bi mogli postojano da nešto radimo za Krišnu, i da li se taj kapacitet povećava sa duhovnim napretkom.
Generally, devotees who are executing sadhana,
Uopšteno, bakte izvršavaju i realizuju sadhanu.
they go through two extremes.
I ako to rade, oni u početku prolaze kroz dva ekstremna puta.
Utsahamai, puffed up with enthusiasm.
Onako, natopljeni entuzijazmom.
Or niyamakshama. Actually, it's alternating thick and thin. Sometimes they're in ecstasy and sometimes they're depressed.
Drugi put jeste debelo pa tanko. Nekad u ekstazi, a nekad voda ne.
Sometimes we're in the spiritual world.
Nekada smo u duhovnom svetu.
And sometimes we're having an interview with Yamaraj.
A nekada idemo na razgovor sa Yamarajom.
So how to become steady?
Kako postati postojan?
Not to become disturbed by these extremes.
I ne biti zapravo uznemiren sa ta dva ekstrema.
In other words, try to execute devotional service.
Drugim rečima treba izvršavati, treba predano služiti.
And chant Hare Krishna with attention and enthusiasm.
I pažljivo i sa entuzijazmom pevati Hare Krishna.
And not to become disturbed by when there is some difficulty.
I ne biti uznemiren kada se naiđe, kada se desi neka poteškoća.
Try to become steady.
Već jednostavno ostati postojan.
Otherwise, I'm sick.
S druge strane, ja sam bolestan.
I'm sick.
Bolestan sam.
Let me meditate on this. I'm sick.
Pustite da meditiram, to ja sam bolestan.
Let everyone else know I'm sick.
Neka svi znaju da sam bolestan.
Put it on the internet.
Stavite to na internet.
Write about it in the back of Godhead.
I pišite o tome u mojoj karni.
Let everyone know.
Neka svi znaju.
Don't get near me, I'm sick.
Nemojte ni da mi priđete, ja sam bolestan.
Yes, I may be sick.
Dobro, možda
The
sam
body is sick.
Tijelo jeste bolestan.
But hopefully the soul won't become sick.
Često duša neće baš tako lako.
Let me continue on chanting Hare Krishna.
Ajde da ja nastavim da pevam Hare Krishna.
Even though the body is sick, my mind is disturbed, my vision is cloudy.
Iako je telo bolesno i um je iznemiren i vizija je sva maglovita.
Let me continue on with my service.
Ajde da ja nastavim sa svojim služenjem.
It may not be very good.
Možda to neće biti jako.
It may not be very pure.
Možda neće biti jako čisto.
I may not be executing it with enthusiasm.
I možda ja to neću izvršavati sa entuzijazmom.
But at least I'm doing it.
Ali barem ja to radim.
So this is some advancement.
I to je neki napredak.
It's not that at the time of death,
Nije da u trenutku smrti,
my body's falling apart,
kada se moje telo raspada,
and my mind is bewildered.
a mi je sav zbunjen.
I'll think, well, I wish I would have died better.
I onda ja razmišljam, pa baš bi volio da sam malo bolje nekako umro.
Then I could have chanted Hare Krishna.
Onda sam mogu i da pevam.
But this is too disturbing.
Ovo je su više uznemiravajući.
No, we have to practice.
Nije moramo da vežbamo.
Death means disturbance.
Smrt znači uznemirenje.
And we don't practice during this lifetime. How are we going to be able to do it? How are we going to be able to be tolerant at the time of death?
I ako to nismo naučili za vreme života, kako ćemo onda to tolerisati u trenutku smrti?
Everything takes practice.
Za sve je potrebna praksa.
So Krishna's arranged it like that.
I tako je to Krishna osmisliti.
He gives us enough enthusiasm,
Dao nam je dovoljno entuzijazma.
enough opportunities to display our service to Him in an enthusiastic way.
Dovoljno prilika da izvršimo i pokažemo našu službu njemu na entuzijastičan način.
And sometimes some difficulties come.
I ponekad dođu neke poteškoće.
So we can practice being tolerant.
I onda mi vežbamo toleranciju.
That's the nice thing about Kali Yuga.
To je lepa stvar u vezi sa Kali Jugom.
Queen Kunti, she had to pray for difficulty.
Queen Kunti, ona se čak molila za teškoće.
But we're in Kali Yuga.
Ali mi smo u Kali Jugi.
There's no problem. Oh, stop there. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gora Prahladananda